Greetings. Let us try to solve the numerical number 6, which has a statement. Proportion a trapezoidal footing given the following data. Column loads P1 equals to 2016 kN and P2 equals to 1560 kN. Size of columns are 0.46 meter by 0.46 meter. Center to center spacing of the column is 5.48 meter. Column P1 is located along the property line. Safe bearing capacity QS is equals to 190 kN per meter square. So we are supposed to proportion the footing, where we are supposed to find out the requirement B1 and B2 here, the width of the footing along the column 1 and column 2. Here the column 1 is on the property line, which carries a load of 2016 kilonewton, whereas column second is in interior of the footing, which carries a load of 1560, spaced at a distance of 5.48 meter from the column 1. So let's start with the estimation of the required area. The required area of the footing can be find out. AF is equals to total load divided by safe bearing pressure. For that we have a statics. AF is equals to P1 plus P2 plus self height of the footing, which is assumed to be the 10% of total load applied on the column, divided by the safe bearing pressure of the on the footing. So AF is equals to 2016 plus 1560. These are the column loads, plus zero point 0.1 times of 2016 plus 1560. This is the assumed self weight of your footing, divided by 180, the safe bearing capacity of the soil. So AF work out to be 3933.6 divided by 190, which is equals to 20.7 meters square. Now let us work with the geometry of the footing. So the length of the footing can be considered as a 0.23. 0.23 is nothing but half the column width, which is at the edge, which is located at the edge of the footing. So column width is given as 0.46. So half of this will lead towards the centroid of the column. So it comes to 0.23 here, 5.48. The center to center distance between the column is given, plus 0.5. It is assumed projection. IS code says that the projection can vary from 1 to 0.1 to 0.5, any value. The maximum value is 0.5. That's why adopting 0.5. The length of the footing is worked out to be 6.21. Once we are having a known length, then we can find out the width of the footing by the relation AF is equals to B1 plus B2 divided by 2. Since it's a trapezoidal area, it will be P1 plus B2 divided by 2 into L. So from this relation, what we will get, we'll get equation in terms of the width, that is B1 plus B2 is equals to 6.67. So here B1 and B2 is unknown. This equation remains unsolved. So we will move towards the next parameters, from where we can have some more relationship with respect to the width. So let's work on the load centroid. The load centroid of the footing can be calculated as x bar equals to P2L divided by P1 plus P2 plus A. What is the meaning of this? I am going to take the moment of all loads along the P1 load. Yes, from there I have got a statics P2 by L divided by P1 plus P2 plus A. A is the projection. Here in the case of your column is located at the edge, so half of the width will be act as a projection. So 1560 into 5.48, this is the load on second column, which is at a distance of 5.48 from the first column, divided by the total load on the column 2016 plus 1560 plus 0.23, half the width, it comes to be 2.63. Now geometric centroid, we know the formula for geometric centroid of your footing, that is x bar is equals to L by 3 in bracket 2 twice the B1 plus B2 divided by B1 plus B2. Now here B1 is the width of the column, which is at the edge. So it means that I am going to refer the centroid with reference to the edge, with edge of the footing nearer to the column 1. So from these two equation, if we equate these two, load centroid is equals to geometric centroid, once again we are going to get a relationship between width B1 and B2, because B1 and B2 is the only unknown parameter from that equation. These two equation and two unknowns will lead towards a solution. After substituting respective values, we get V1 equals to 4.87 meter and B2 equals to 1.80 meter. Hence we can say here we are going to provide a footing of size of length 6.21 and sizes width is equals to 4.83 along column 1 and width along the column 2 is equals to 1.80. Now let us move towards the part of proportioning of cantilever footing. In case of cantilever footing, we have to make certain assumption. What are those assumptions? Strap or cantilever footing are designed on the basis of the following assumption. Number 1, The strap is infinitely stiff. It serves to transfer the column loads to the soil with equal and uniform soil pressure under both the footings. So it is a connecting beam between the two columns. This is provided in the case when the columns are located at the edge and the footing has to be played eccentrically, and that's why we require additional stability. So we are going to anchor the column with the nearest stable footing by a beam known as a strap beam. The strap is a purely flexural member and does not. Second assumption is that the strap is a purely flexural member and does not take soil reaction. It doesn't take any soil reaction, only it transfer the loads and maintain the stability so as the uniform distribution of pressure should be there. To avoid the bearing on the bottom of the strap, a few centimeter of the underlying soil may be loosened prior to the placement of the concrete. Means they are not being placed at the same level as the footing as the footing is being placed. Intentionally, there has been a bearing is reduced by giving a gap of few centimeters or making the soil loose at the bottom of that beam. From this figure, we can see that the ground level is located here, and the strap beam is provided above it. Means that strap beam is not going to carry any upward pressure, upward intensity of the soil. So it is only just to connect the two columns and make it stable and transfer the loads from one column to the another column, or movements from one column to the other column, so that it can get stable. Now let us work on the proportioning of this footing, finding out the area of this footing. For that, let us consider column 1 is located at a building property line or building line which has a dimension B1 and B1 by B1 is per column, and column 2 is the innermost column which is stable, having a distribution of footing over the spreaded area which is about B2 by B2 square footing for a square column of size B2 by B2. Now our intention is to know what are the requirement for B1 and L1, B2 and B2. So we require this size to be estimated. For this, let us assume that the P1 load is coming at an eccentricity. Because we are going to place the column at the edge and footing is spread towards the inside, there will be a certain eccentricity generated. So let us consider this total pressure which is applied on the soil has a resultant R1 for the column footing 1, and for similarly the reaction R2, which are located at a distance LR from each other. The center to center distance between the two resultant is said to be LR here, whereas the center to center distance between the two point loads are said to be a center to center distance between the column LC. So initially what we have to do, we don't know what is the exact eccentricity beared by the column load. So we have to make an assumption. Select here trial values, and IS code says that selection of trial values should be start with a 0.5, which seems to be in most cases very comfortable for designing the footing. After selecting some R value, selecting from E value, we are supposed to find out the compute the reaction R1 and R2 using the statics. This is a planar geometry where the coplanar forces are going to act. That's why we have three static equilibrium equations: summation of forces in y direction, summation of forces in x direction, and summation of moment about any of the x's should be equals to 0. From this statics, we are going to calculate the R1. The R1 and R2, which is obtained from such a statics, is equals to P1 in bracket L plus E divided by LR, and R2 is equals to P2 minus P1 into E divided by L by R. After knowing this R1 and R2, we can go with the estimation of area of individual column. This R1 is nothing but the resultant force which is going to act on a footing. So force divided by permissible stress value, we can get the area. So R1 divided by permissible pressure, we'll get the A1 area. Similarly, A2 is equals to R2, which is the resultant force acting on the footing, divided by QS, safe bearing capacity of the soil. Once we get A1 and A2, then the job remains to find out the B1 and L1, and similarly B2 and B2. So since it's been a square column, we can say under root of area is nothing but B2 and B2 in the case of column 2. But in case of column 1, we have to estimate the B1 and L1 value, because it will never be a square footing. It may have a certain differences in the ratio in the length. So B1 can be estimated as a if we consider the B1 is nothing but twice of this. If we are going to consider the V1 along the length with reference to this figure, in that case we can say E plus B by 2. This will be the centroid distance. If I take double of this, this will be the B1 distance. So the B1 equals to 2 into E plus B1 by 2. Now after computing the values related to once we have computed the tentative areas of A1, A2, then we will go for once again computation of E. And we'll say that the reference E which we have considered is similar as we are going to have computed from the computed areas. If they matches, we'll stop the design process. This is comparative iterative process as compared to other footing proportioning. Let us move towards a numerical. In this numerical, he states that proportion is staff footing given the following data. Column loads are P1 is equals to 1455 and P2 equals to 1500 kilonewton. Size of the column is 0.5 by 0.5. As center to center spacing of the column is 6.2. Column with load P1 is located at edge of the footing, and safe bearing capacity EQS is equals to 384 kilonewton per meter square. As I have stated, the first step will be assuming the trial eccentricity. In this case, we will assume trial eccentricity as a 0.5 meter. Hence, the LR will be equals to 6.2 minus 0.5. It is equals to 5.7. What is this LR? Center to center distance between the two reactive forces. R1 is equals to from this data we are comfortable now to work on estimation of R1 R2. From the static equation we have got the relation R1 is equals to P1 in bracket 1 plus E divided by LR. So it is equals to 1455 in bracket 1 plus 0.5 divided by 5.7. It comes to be 1582.63 kilonewton. Similarly, we can get R2 value which is equals to P2 minus P1 into E divided by LR. P2 is equals to 1500 minus 1455 into 0.5 divided by 5.7, which comes to be 1372.36. Now, after knowing the values of reactive forces, we can go for computation of tentative areas. We have a relation A1 is equals to R1 divided by QS. QS is given to us, it is 384. R1 we have estimated 1582.63. Then required area is 4.121 meter square. So we can say provided footing of size 2.03 multiplied by 2.03. I am going to consider here the areas, the footing be a square footing. Then the requirement will be like this. Similarly, I can work for A2. A2 is equals to R2 divided by QS, where R2 we have estimated 1372.36 divided by 384. It comes to 3.57 meters square. So we can say provide footing of size 1.89 by 1.89. Now, as we said, we are working on it as a trial basis of eccentricity. We will try to recompute the eccentricity from the known data. Now, trial areas now. So E equals to B1 by 2. B1 by 2 means half the width of the column 1. So column 1 2.03 is the width, 2.03 divided by 2 minus B1 by 2. B1 by 2 is nothing but the size of the column 1. So B1 is given as 0.5 divided by 2. It comes to 0.765. It is somewhat higher that we have assumed. We have assumed it as a 0.5. It is coming somewhat higher. So that's then it becomes an iterative process. Again, we have to go with reference to the calculated eccentricity. So I will find once again the reactive forces with reference to calculated eccentricity, which equals to 1455 in bracket 1 plus 0.765 divided by 5.7. I have changed the E value. Previously I have taken here 0.5. So based on this I got reactive forces 1650.27. Similarly, R2 will be find out with the relation 1500 minus 1455 into 0.765 divided by LR. LR is nothing but length between the two reactive forces, 5.7, which equals to 1304.72 kilonewton. After knowing the new R1 values and R2 values, once again I will go with the estimation part of areas. Area A1 will be R1 divided by QS. QS is the safe load carrying capacity of the soil. From this we are going to estimate once again the area requirement 4.29 meter square. Providing footing of size 2.07 by 2.07 will be the proportioning of the area for the column 1. Similarly, we can go with the part of estimation of the area for the column 2, R2 equal divided by QS, which equals to 1304.72 divided by 384. It is 3.39 meter square. Hence, we can say provide a footing of size 1.84 into 1.84 meter. If we compare the sizes, it is being nearly round up towards what is required, what we have got in the first try. That means that we are going to be on a similar part, or we can say the requirements are going to match. Hence we can stop our trial here and we can say statement now has provide a footing of size 2.1 by 2.1 meter for a column 1 and footing of size 1.8 by 1.8 meter for the column number 2. So from after completion of this numerical, I think I have completed the part related to the combined footing, which includes the rectangular footing proportioning. It includes trapezoidal footing